Norfolk County Commissioners meeting Wednesday, December 30th, 2020, 1 p.m. on Zoom teleconference meeting. This is on remote participation in orders with Governor Baker on March 12, 2020. He suspended the open meeting law in certain provisions. I hereby call the meeting to order, and I have a roll call. Commissioner Collins.
Present.
Commissioner Shea.
Present.
And Commissioner O'Brien is present. I have the minutes of the open meeting session of December 23rd, 2020 for approval. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman, that we accept the minutes of the open session meeting, December 23rd, 2020.
Second.
There's a motion made second to accept the minutes of the open meeting of December 23rd, 2020 for approval. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? It is a vote. Next in the agenda are the minutes of the executive session of the December 23rd meeting, 2020 for approval.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman, we accept the minutes of the executive session held on December 23rd, 2020 for approval, and that we hold their release at this time till the matter is adjudicated.
Second.
There's a motion made and seconded to accept the minutes of the executive session meeting of December 23rd, 2003, and to hold the contents for future approval. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? It is a vote. Is there any public comment? Hearing no public comment, I'll move into the facilities report of the capital improvement and the coronavirus update. A very capable and wonderful head of Department of Maintenance, John McGowan.
Oh, thank you, Commissioner. Thank you very much. And once again, I have to report that I don't have any capital improvement reports. One reason being that you've made me do 18 years of them. And under your leadership, we accomplished a lot. And I thank you very much. And I know the rest of the people listening do too. I don't have much going on at the with the coronavirus at this time. We're doing the plexiglass. We're finishing up a lot of it, and there's a few things we have to do. I know that the court officers want some of the jail cells fixed up with the plexiglass, and I think that's the next move that we're going to be doing. But other than that, that's about it for me. I don't have much going on right now.
Thank you very much, John, and thank you for always a great job that you and the maintenance department has done for all of the employees of Norfolk County, John. Commissioner Shea, Commissioner Collins, do you have any comments or suggestions?
I have a comment, and I'm happy with your report, John. So you did a nice job. But I like to tell, I'll tell the Fran stories today. So when Fran came in as county commissioner, one of the first things he did was he changed John McGowan's job title to superintendent of buildings. I think the only reason he changed it to superintendent of buildings is because he liked to be able to call John the SOB. So, but that's my only comment.
He's called me a lot worse than that. And I know I'm going to be very sad that he's leaving, because that's probably my last hope of getting a raise. But I know that he's done a lot of work in this 18 years that he's been here, and I'm going to miss him.
Thank you. Commissioner Shea?
I'm all set today with John. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. We do have one appointment, and they're going to be very brief. And Leonetta Scapini from the Scapini Penna PC on the financial statements and management discussion and analysis with the independent auditors report. Can we give some brief remarks, please, for approval? Leona,
Sure thing. Hi. Hello. Thank you for having me.
thank you.
I do have a brief presentation if there's time for it to present, and if I can figure out how to share my screen here. So it's similar to the presentation that we reviewed in previous years. I'm going to try to share that with you all now.
Mike Rollins,
Yes, yeah, like you should have the permission.
Okay. Not seeing the option, Mike. Let me just see.
Like at the bottom of the screen, if you go to share screen.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So screen 2. All right. Can everybody see that? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
What's happening here? Okay. So we're here today to review the fiscal year 2019 audit of the county. And just a brief agenda. I'll review briefly the terms of our engagement, give you a summary, some of the financial highlights from the financial statements, a brief touch on the GAO report, which is required as part of the audit, as well as a few of the key management letter comments. So the purpose of our engagement of our audit is to express an opinion as to whether the county's financial statements are presented in accordance with GAAP, which is generally accepted accounting principles. We also provide you with a report on your internal control over financial reporting, compliance with laws, regulations, contracts, and grants. And then if there are other findings that we have that don't make it into that report, we also provide a second management letter, which has some additional comments on some suggestions or recommendations for improvements that could be made, whether in internal control or other areas. So we did, as a result of our audit, issue an unmodified opinion on your financial statements, which is the best type of opinion that's available to a county. And we did have one GAO internal control finding, which is the same finding that we've reviewed the past few years, and it relates to financial reporting. So a few of the financial highlights from the financial statements: the net position of the county continues to be overall in a pretty significant deficit. But as we reviewed last year, the deficit is due primarily to the unrestricted net position being a deficit, because we're now recording the net pension liability as well as the net OPEB liability. And those two numbers are alone are over just about $78 million. So I've prepared this chart here, which takes you from the unrestricted net position. So way over in the right, we're looking at June 30th of 2019. We're about $65 million in deficit. But if we take out all of the components that are related to OPEB and to pension, then we end up with a positive net position of $2.4 million. So if we weren't recording these liabilities, then the numbers on these full accrual financial statements wouldn't look nearly wacky. I also prepared a chart here to show the same numbers, just in a chart format for those who are a little bit more visual. So you can see here, those first bars that are going down into the negative represent the unrestricted net position. Then the next set of data is the OPEB liability. And you can see that increasing. There's a huge jump between 2016 and 2017, as it says up here. The county was required to implement GASB statement number 75 in fiscal year 2017. And so because of GASB 75, you're now reporting your net OPEB liability instead of the unfunded portion of the liability. So that accounts for this huge jump here from this blue graph to the gray. And then the net pension liability also steadily increasing. And the last set of numbers is the unrestricted net position without those liabilities included. Continuing along on the fund financial statements, the general fund ended the fiscal year with a total balance of 3.1 million. A little less than half of that was assigned because of some carryover encumbrances and some money that you used for the fiscal 2020 budget. And then the rest of it is unassigned, and that's 1.6 million. Some more of the highlights from the notes to the financial statements. The governmental activities report total long-term debt of just over 93 million. So of that 93 million, about 13 million is your bonds payable. The pension liability, as we've talked about already, is 33.7, and the OPEB is 44.3 million. The pension plan, to highlight that a little bit further, we're talking about a net pension liability at the end of the year of $33.7 million. And the bottom bullet point here is just kind of to highlight how sensitive this calculation is. It's an actuarial calculation that's done. And for this year's valuation, the liability was calculated using a 7.75% discount rate, which is an assumption that the actuary comes up with. So this shows you that if he had used a number that was 1% higher, then the liability would only be 26.4 million. And if it was 1% lower, it would be 42.3 million. Same thing on the OPEB. The OPEB liability that is being reported at the end of the year is $44.3 million. But again, that one's just as sensitive to changes in the discount rate and changes in the healthcare trend rate. So you can see 1% higher there takes it from 44.3 million up to 51.5. And if we use a 1% lower discount rate, then the liability goes down to 38.6 million. As I mentioned at the beginning, our GAO report does contain one significant deficiency related to internal control of financial reporting. And we've discussed this for the past several years with regard to the software that the county purchases each year from Budget Sense, and making sure that your financial data is centralized and is not being accounted for offline with manual spreadsheets, because that's where we did see a couple of years ago, there was a couple errors in the budget that took place because of that. And if we were utilizing Budget Sense to its full capacity, including the budget, the rolling forward of the actual system, instead of doing that as a series of journal entries, the system has the capability to just roll it forward for you, which kind of minimizes those types of potential errors. And then the encumbrances. We did not have any findings surrounding compliance with laws, regulations, contracts, or grants. So the management letter contains 8 recommendations. Some of the highlights, we continue to talk about decentralized cash accounts over at the registry, which should all be under the control of the county treasurer. Formalizing your policies and procedures into a more formal document. So you do have some very good procedures and policies, but they're not in a centralized document. And then improving documentation with regard to payroll, pay rates, withholdings, and having that data all centralized. Payroll testing is a process when we come out to do that. As far as locating documents, they're all in different places, and some of them are not on file, mostly for the older employees that have been there for longer. Things have been improving. And does anybody have any questions?
Thank you very much, Leona. Comments, Commissioner Collins?
Leonetta, thank you. It's quite a bit of information, so we just got it today. I'm excited about looking through it. I'm looking forward to looking through it. And I want to thank you for your presentation. It was very nice.
Commissioner Shea?
I feel the same way. I mean, thank you, Leonetta. I did peruse it, but I think at the change of administration and new county treasurer, our best practice audit coming, that we want to take it under advisement and act on it at a later date, or have comment on it at a later date. But we've caught up and we've met our deadline, so that's a good thing. And that's all I have to say today.
To make that in the form of a motion, Commissioner Shea, please.
I'll make a motion that we take under advisement the presentation from our outside auditor, their auditor's report and management letter, to be acted upon at a later date.
I'll second the motion.
There's a motion made and seconded to take the audit report under consideration for a future date. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is a vote. Under old business, we have a petition of the inhabitants of the town of Randolph on a portion of High Street that we have already looked over the plans and whatnot with the commissioner's approval. Commissioner Shea, await a motion.
I have the paperwork here, Mr. Chairman, the actual motion. I'm going to read it into the record. This is the result of a public hearing held a couple of weeks ago. Okay, here it is. This is the motion, Mr. Chairman. The motion is to alter those portions of High Street in Randolph, Norfolk County, Massachusetts, as prayed for in the petition for alteration of inhabitants of the town of Randolph, to alter portions of High Street, Randolph, as shown on a plan and prepared by CHA dated June 15th, 2020. Said discontinuance is subject to the following conditions: fully executed general release and indemnification agreements in favor of the county of Norfolk from the Dennis R. Lombardo, trustee of Randolph Realty Trust, Vincent J. Lombardo as trustee of Randolph Realty Trust, and Paul Hart as managing partner of Hart Family Limited Partnership. Paul Hart as chief executive officer of Lantana LLC, and Paul Hart as president of Minot, M-I-N-O-T, Inc. Number two, recording of registry returns of commissioners' returns, releases, and plan at the Norfolk County Registry of Deeds. Payment of all recording fees also at the Norfolk County Registry of Deeds. All said releases shall be incorporated into the commissioner's return of alterations and recorded in the Norfolk County Registry of Deeds. Public hearing held 2 weeks ago at a regularly scheduled meeting of the Norfolk County Commission. That is my motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
There's a motion made and seconded to accept the layout as presented by the town of Randolph on High Street as presented by Commissioner Shea, seconded by Commissioner Collins. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? It is a vote. Under the personnel matters for consideration, I will turn that part over to Commissioner Shea, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have several personnel matters on the agenda today. Most of them have to do with the notice of the end of the term and the new reelection of a new county treasurer and a new county commissioner. So I will handle the elected positions first. The first one is a notice of the end of the term of Francis W. O'Brien of Dedham, Mass. as chairman of the Norfolk County Commissioners and as commissioner effective 1/6/21. Second to that is the notice of appointment of Richard R. Stady of Canton, Mass. as Norfolk County Commissioner effective 1/6/2021. The third one is notice of end of term of James E. Timilty of Walpole, Mass. as Norfolk County Treasurer effective 1/6/2021. The fourth one is notice of appointment of Michael G. Bellotti of Quincy as Norfolk County Treasurer effective 1/6/21. I'd like a motion on those four elected positions first,
Motion.
and I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And this is required by law due to the recent election held in November of 2020. We have two other matters on the personnel papers today. It's a termination in the treasurer's office as a records compliance officer and a regrade of the payroll clerk in the treasurer's office at the recommendation of Treasurer Jim Timilty. So we have a notice on those two, a motion on those two.
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the last one is notice of appointment of a full-time cafeteria worker, which is a 10-month position at the Norfolk County Agricultural School.
Let me, hold on, Joe. It was from a full-time cafeteria worker to a full-time special ed instructor.
I made that mistake last week too. I am sorry. Thank you for correcting me. So this is a notice of a promotion, actually, from a cafeteria worker to a full-time special education instructor, which is a 10-month position at the Norfolk Aggie. Motion, please.
Motion.
Second.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
That completes the personnel matters for today, Mr. Chairman. We're on number 10, payroll and expense warrants.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Shea. The next order of business, and we're getting down close, is the payroll and expense warrants for approval. Commissioner Shea, could I hear a motion?
I have 3 warrants here, Mr. Chairman, and my motion is that we approve the county weekly payroll 21-26, the amount of $140,672.26. Second, that we approve the agricultural school weekly payroll 21-26 in the amount of $326,876.34. And third, that we approve the county expense warrant dated 12/5/21 in the amount of, number 12/5/21 in the amount of $531,867.03.
And one thing you said, Joe, you said the Aggie payroll, but it's the Aggie biweekly payroll, and I'll second your motion.
Thank you.
There's a motion made by Commissioner Shea, second by Commissioner Collins, to approve the payroll and expense warrants for approval December 30th, 2020, as indicated in the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? It is a vote. We have no bid openings and we have no contract awards, but we do have a notice to proceed for the roof replacement on Kemp Hall at the Aggie School with Gibson roofs. And D, we have Kemp Hall window and door replacement at the Aggie School on the accessibility upgrade with the Homer Contracting. Commissioner Shea, the chair will wait a motion, please.
Okay. I have in front of me, Mr. Chairman, the paperwork, and I want to give you the exact terminology. I just can't put my hand on it here and among all this paperwork. I may have to reach out to Director Mullen for a little assistance here.
Director Mullins, you have the cost of the proceed with the replacement of the Gibson, or the roof for Gibson at Kemp Hall.
Yes, I have them. And actually, just let me pull them up, Mr. Chairman, while we are speaking, and then I can share them as well. But at this point, I would recommend a motion. Like a motion to approve as presented. And I'll pull them up, and that, and I can share exactly what they are as well. And if you can bear with me, I'll share my screen.
I stand corrected. I do have them.
Okay, Commissioner Shea,
Okay, this is a notice to proceed. I'm going to read it, Mr. Chairman. Again, I apologize.
you may, Commissioner.
This agreement made on the 30th day of December 2020 by and between Norfolk County, hereafter called the owner, and Gibson Roof, Inc., thereafter called the contractor. Witness that the owner and the contractor, for the consideration hereafter named, agree to as follows. Article 1, scope of work. The contractor shall perform all of the work required by the contract documents for Kemp Hall building roof replacement for the Norfolk County Agricultural School. Article 2, time of completion. The contractor shall commence work under the contract on the date specified in the written notice to proceed of the owner and shall bring the work to substantial completion by August 15, 2021, unless mutual agreement between the County of Norfolk and the contractor. Article 3, the contract sum. The owner shall pay in current funds the contractor for the performance of the work, subject to additional and deductions by change order, the contract sum of $1,206,090, $1,206,090. Number 4, the contract documents, the following, together with the agreement form, the contract, and all as fully a part of the contract as if attached to this agreement or repeated herein. 1, the advertisement, the bidding documents, the contract, the forms, the conditions of the contract, and specifications as enumerated in the table of contents, the drawings as enumerated in the list of contract drawings, addenda, and modification issued after execution of the contract. Terms used in this agreement shall be defined in the conditions of the contract, shall have the meanings designated in those conditions. Article 5, alternates. The following alternates have been accepted and their costs are included in the contract sum stated in Article 3 of this amendment. Agreement. That is my notice, that is my motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Is the motion made and seconded to approve the agreement for the roofs and at the Aggie School as indicated in the motion of Commissioner Shea? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is a vote.
I have a second one, Mr. Chairman. This is also a notice to proceed. This agreement has been made on the 30th day of December 2020 by and between Norfolk County, hereafter called the owner, and Homa Contracting, hereafter called the contractor. Witness that the owner and the contractor, for the consideration herein named, agree to the following. 1, scope of work. Contractor shall perform all of the work required by the contract documents for Kemp Hall building, window and door replacement and accessibility upgrade for the Norfolk County Agricultural School. Article 2, time of completion. The contractor shall commence work under this contract on the date specified in the written notice to proceed of the owner and shall bring the work to substantial completion by August 15th, 2021, unless a mutual agreement between the county and the contractor. Article 3, the contract sum, the owner shall pay in current funds the contractor for the performance of the work, subject to additional and deduction by change order. The contract sum of $1,269,000. Article 4, the contract documents. The following, together with the agreement from the contractor, and all are in full or part of the contract, as is if attached to this agreement, are repeated herein. Number 1, the advertisement. Number 2, the bidding documents. Number 3, the contract. Number 4, the forms, conditions of the contract. And number 5, specifications as enumerated in the table of contents. The drawings are enumerated in the list of contract drawings, addenda, and modifications issued after execution of the contract. Terms used in this agreement shall be defined in the condition of the contract, shall have the meanings designated in these conditions. Article 5, alternates. The following alternates have been accepted and their costs are included in the contract sum stated in Article 3 of this agreement. That is my motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. Do you have a second?
Second.
There's a motion made and seconded to go forward with the agreement of the Homa contracting for the improvements in windows at Aggie School as presented by Commissioner Shea. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? It is a vote. Next item on the agenda, I'll turn over to Director Mullen and the commissioners of Norfolk County.
Yes, I can thank you, Chairman. And before we get going, we have like a whole lot of people who are way more important than I like on the Zoom, but I just want to first actually take a moment and thank you. I want to thank you for being my example. For the last 4 years. I want to thank you for your faith in me. I want to thank you for hiring me. As a kid new to the county. And as a kid with a speech impediment and trusting me, and believing me and having really the confidence in me to work with you to lead the county forward. And I'll forever be indebted to you. I'll forever be grateful to you, Mr. Chairman. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. But as I mentioned, there are a whole lot of people on the Zoom who are a whole heck of a lot important than I am, and I want to turn it over to Commissioner Shea.
Actually, if I can jump in, Mike, I wanted to go first, and Mike and Joe is going to follow me.
Yes, I'm sorry, Commissioner, go ahead.
Okay. Fran, when John retired, I had a short statement for him, but I couldn't make a short statement for you. So you'll probably yell at me and say, this is too long. So please bear with me. I just want to go over some of the things that you've done and how we feel about you.
Thank you.
So just going back to high school, you were the captain of the football team, the hockey team, the baseball team in Dedham. And to be a captain, you have to be talented. You have to have the respect of your peers. You have to know when to be hard. You have to know when to be compassionate. You served in the Navy during the Korean War. When you came back, you worked as a milkman. You worked as a firefighter. You worked for the MBTA as a liaison between the MBTA and 78 cities and towns. If a town wanted a bus stop, a trolley stop, or a train station, they went through you. You served as selectman in Dedham for decades. In fact, Jim McDonald's on this line. You can see this picture, and behind him it says the selectman room in Dedham is named after you. It has the Fran O'Brien room. You breathed in all things Dedham, and when you breathed out, those things were changed. They were changed by your experience, your voice, and your understanding of the issues. If you were from Dedham and you needed help, you talked to Franny. If you wanted to run for office at the local or national level and you needed Dedham, you talked to Franny. When Paul Harold was a register of deeds, he passed away in the office, and Commissioner John Gillis and I appointed Bill O'Donnell as the register of deeds. Fran expressed interest in being appointed county commissioner, and I heard Fran was an old school politician, and this might make things interesting. Walter Timilty, our clerk of courts, who's on this phone call today, and John Gillis explained to me why Fran was the best candidate for the appointment, and they were right. Our vote to appoint Fran as county commissioner was unanimous. And what a ride it's been over the past 18 years. And Fran, you're not going to believe this, but you and I have shared more than 1,000 county meetings. You are an old school politician. You know everyone, and you've known everyone for decades. You're strong-willed. You are well thought out, and you have well thought out and learned opinions. You take time to figure out the big picture, and you always look out for the little guy. I've heard you say that 1,000 times. If Fran O'Brien is your friend, he's your friend for life. He'll do anything he can for you, and he'll ask for this in return. Many of you, I'm sure, remember the old E.F. Hutton commercials. And the person in the commercial would be in the middle of a crowd, and they'd be talking to their friend, and they'd say, "My broker is E.F. Hutton." And the whole room would go silent. And Franny's impact on a room is the same. It never really went silent. He always spoke over everybody. But Fran, you spoke with knowledge, authority, and power. And several years ago, one town in the county wanted to secede from the county so they could stop paying their county tax. They wanted to continue receiving the county services, and they wanted to keep their county courthouse in their town, but they didn't want to pay the taxes anymore. At an advisory board meeting, which included that town's selectman, Fran said in his boldest and most gravelly voice, "If you secede from the county, you can kiss your courthouse goodbye." I was present at the town meeting a few weeks later in that town when the same selectman told the assembled body of Franny's quote. Even secondhand, his message was like a thunderclap echoing across the room. Fran is a family man. He would do anything at all for his family. And he's a medical marvel. His medical chart reads like Lazarus over and over. One time, Fran was in the back of an ambulance on a gurney being rushed to the hospital with a heart attack. Fran realized the driver was lost, so he gave him turn-by-turn directions from the back of the ambulance. I visited Fran in the hospital on one occasion, and it was one of the times that things had gone medically bad for him. I was sure he was a goner. He was barely breathing. His skin was gray. I prayed for Franny all weekend. Everyone prayed for Franny all weekend long. When I went to the hospital on Monday, I was hoping he was still alive. I went into his room, and he was sitting up in bed. He gave me a huge greeting with a twinkle in his eye as a beautiful nurse fluffed up his pillow. The last time Fran's heart stopped, the doctors had to break several ribs to bring him back. He said when he was non-responsive, he felt great calm and great peace. Fran, we all know that God is a large part of your life. I believe I speak for everyone in this call and everyone in the county when I say we are blessed, Franny, that you've led us into your life. Fran, you are the best. Thank you for everything. And I'm sorry I went so long, but I really wanted to tell your story.
Thank you very, very much, Commissioner Collins. I appreciate it very much.
Go get him, Joe.
Thank you. In the interest of trying to do this in an orderly fashion, I'm going to wait till the end. However, I want to tell you that we have a number of people here. I can see a lot of them on my screen. However, I'm going to lean on Mike to help me, but I'm going to give some rules and launch right into it. I think I'd like to do some elected officials first, then department heads who are present, then former department heads are aboard, and then we'll get to friends and neighbors. However, I want to start, as I like to tell everyone, Fran is all things Dedham. So I see Jim McDonald here, and I'd like to start with Jim, and then I will go through the people that I see here, call on you. I know everyone has a very busy schedule, but we know you're happy to be here, and we really appreciate it. And at the end, we'll have an announcement, which we'll put in writing, and everyone will be hearing from us in the future. But I'd like to defer, and again, we have a lot of people from the court, and we'll do them right after we do the elected officials. So I'm going to go right to Jim McDonald first.
Thanks, Commissioner, and it's great to see everybody, and especially great to see you, Franny. So if everybody looks behind me, you see it says Fran O'Brien Meeting Room. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut my video off, and you're just going to see what it looks like, and I'm going to pull up a couple of other pictures that I just going to talk about for a moment. So this is the in the new town hall, the renovated town hall, the Francis O'Brien Meeting Room, which is absolutely spectacular, and it really will do. You know, it was an honor for me to recommend that and have it done. And for everybody, if you look at the picture's not coming up, but there is the plaque that says dedicated in honor to lifelong service and commitment to the town of Dedham. And also, there's been so much said already about Franny, but I'm just gonna share this proclamation that we, the members of the select board, are going to present formally to Fran and Mike. I'm assuming this is visible.
Yes, it is.
So it says Commonwealth of Massachusetts Town of Dedham Select Board Certificate of Appreciation. Whereas Francis W. O'Brien, born in 1929 and a lifelong resident of Dedham, having spent his youth in East Dedham, attended Dedham High School, where he excelled in football, baseball, hockey, and graduated in 1949. And whereas in 1951, Francis married his high school sweetheart, Nancy Kennedy, and they were blessed with 4 children, Francis, Marlene, Jacqueline, and Cynthia. 7 grandchildren, David, William, Jeffrey, Gregory, Amanda, and twins, Patrick and Sean. And 4 great-grandchildren, Annabelle, Sophia, Evan, Aiden, and also in 1951, Francis enlisted in the United States Navy during the Korean War era and proudly served his country until honorably discharged in 1953. And whereas Francis began his career at the Registry of Deeds as a photostat operator, went on to Whiting Milk Company, and had the good fortune to join the Dedham Fire Department in 1958, while also serving on the board of while also owning, Obie's Variety Store in East Dedham. And whereas realizing his love of helping people, Francis ran for public office in 1962 and became the first firefighter to also serve as a member of the Board of Selectmen. Francis also served as county meeting member of the Board of Recreation and the Board of Assessors. And whereas being raised during the Depression, Francis developed a desire to help those in need. and instantly connected with the citizens of Dedham. He served as a selectman for 12+ years, went on to the role of government affairs at the MBTA, where he became a great problem solver while developing longtime friendships until his retirement in 1993. And whereas in 2002, he was appointed to serve as Norfolk County Commissioner, where he again developed professional and personal relationships and worked to institute much needed physical changes and improvements to the county courthouses. And whereas Fran has been recognized for his commitment, loyalty, and dedication to the town, the county, and has been a longtime supporter of civic organization and athletic teams in Dedham. And whereas Francis has the great honor of having the Selectmen's Chamber Meeting Room Town Hall renamed for him, the Francis W. O'Brien Meeting Room, recognizing his leadership, compassion, commitment to the community. Now, therefore, we, the Select Board of the Town of Dedham, express its sincere gratitude to Fran for his many years of dedicated service and wish him the very best. And this is over the signature of Dr. Dennis Tehan, Demetria Sullivan, who is on the call right now, Vice Chair, myself, Sarah McDonald, and Kevin Coughlin. Now that was that was a lot to say, but it really wasn't a lot to say because everybody on here knows who Fran O'Brien is, know what Fran O'Brien has done for everyone. And, you know, while he's leaving this elected position with the county, we know he will remain active within our community and beyond. And, you know, while we didn't have Memorial Day this past year, you know, the year before, you know, Fran gave such an eloquent history of our town and the veterans who we have named. It was his idea, named various street corners in their name. And as he went through each name, it's really amazing that the connection that Fran had 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago is the same that he has today. And that is his care and compassion for people, his desire to help, and most important, his friendship. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Jim. Demetria, do you want to say anything at this time or?
I'd just like to thank Jim McDonald and the board, Paul Munchback, Tommy Plato, Marie Louise Keough, and Bobby Coughlin for naming the room. I also want to say that Jim McDonald is the longest serving selectman in the history of Dedham. This year, he'll be completing 27 years as a selectman in our town of Dedham, and I'm proud of him.
Thank you, Franny. Demetria, would you like to say anything?
I'll be very brief. I just want to thank you for everything on behalf of the select board and also personally for everything that you've done, especially for the class of 2020 of Dedham High. When we needed you and we needed the commissioners, you came in and helped those kids and put smiles on our faces. So that's just a small sampling of what you've done. Thank you very much. I appreciate everything you've ever done.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Dimitri.
you. I see Senator Mike Rush here. Senator, you're still on?
I am here, Commissioner. Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you.
Hello, Commissioner O'Brien. And I tell Commissioner O'Brien he's the only person who, when he calls my office, I stand at attention as I take his phone call. So I am actually sitting today, though, because we're on Zoom.
Tell Paul McCarthy that, will you, Senator?
I will continue to stand at attention when you call, Commissioner. I want to join all these wonderful folks on the call. I know Representative McMurtry is in session, but has a staff member on the call. But he and I have been so blessed by your friendship, Franny, and your mentorship throughout the years. You have been, as everybody on this call and everybody who you've represented has known, that you have been the epitome of Tip O'Neill's classic saying that all politics is local. So thank you for your honor, your courage, your commitment, your sacrifice, and all that you have done and continue to do for the people of Dedham and the people of Norfolk County. We are all honored and privileged to call you our friend. And lastly, as fellow sailors, I wish you fair winds and following seas in all that you do. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator, and thank you for what you do for Dedham. And you're a great senator, and you're a chip from Bob Colley's days, a good old senator from West Roxbury, and I appreciate, and Dedham appreciates everything that you did, Senator. Thank you.
We have a number of people from the court. I'm going to start with our great clerk of the Superior Court, Walter Timothy, and then move to the district courts and anyone in the courts wants to say anything. So Walter, you're next.
Thank you, Joseph. Franny, I think I said a few words before I came in, and I probably spoke out of turn. But I want to tell you, I came here in 1984. I came from the State House to the courthouse. And this was after a nationwide search. So when I was coming out here, my brother said to me, find Franny O'Brien. He said, great guy. Well, of course, I knew Franny from being a selectman in Milton all those years. So, you know, I knew Franny. But anyways, it was a real coincidence. I left work here probably at 4:30, and I went right to the Tahiti. And who's at the bar at the Tahiti but Franny? So I said, Franny, my brother told me to say hello to you, so here I am. But anyways, be that as it may, Franny, you and I have had a great relationship. There was never a time, Franny, when I called you and asked you to do something for me, that you were standing tall. You were right there for me and for this courthouse, for this building, and for all my employees, all the judges, the court officers, everybody. Always admired Francis O'Brien. And I'll never forget you, Franny. And like I said, when I first saw you, when I first came in here, you know, once this pandemic gets over, we'll look forward to going out to the Tahiti once again. Franny, God bless. I got my red, white, and blue on, and God bless America. Great to see you, Fran.
Yeah,
Thank you, Joe.
thank you very much, Walter, and thank you for your vote. Thank you for putting me in there for 18 years. And I tried my hardest because of people like you, but and the great staff that you have, with Mary Hickey and all of the wonderful employees, and we always get along great. Thank you for everything, Walter.
Is Mary still there, Walter?
He's right behind me, Joe.
Would she like to say anything?
No, that's okay. I just want to say thank you, Franny, for your friendship. You've been just a wonderful person, and I just am blessed to have had you in my life for a little bit. As a commissioner, you've been just wonderful. So thank you on behalf of all the people here. Like Walter said, you have been the best. You have had our back, and we cannot appreciate all you've done for us enough. So God bless you, and I think of you all the time, even though we don't get to see each other in person. All the best, Franny.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank
How
you
about
very
Joseph
much, Mary. Thank you, Mary.
I see Joseph Hurley. Joe, do you want to have any comments?
Thanks, Joe. I'll be brief. Franny, I've been an assistant clerk here for 23 years. I'm honored and proud to live and work in Norfolk County, and I'm honored to work in a truly historic county courthouse with wonderful and dedicated people, including yourself. Thanks in no small part to you, this facility and grounds are clean, nicely landscaped, and well-maintained. Thank you really for your friendship and dedication to the employees and residents of Norfolk County. And thank you personally for your friendship. It's been great.
Thank you very much, Joe. I appreciate your friendship over the years, and you've been a wonderful assistant clerk. Thank you.
Thanks, Franny.
I'm going to move across the street. I see Sal Paterna on my left and anyone else in the Dedham court. Sal.
Yep, I'm here. I
Hey,
guess
Sal.
I can say pretty much exactly what Walter said. You've been a great guy to us, to the Dedham District Court. We're like the little brother to the Superior Court, but you always treated us equally. You have been a great guy, but I will say this, that around 1978 or so, Franny, the then Attorney General, Frank Bellotti, said to me, "You have to meet this guy, Franny O'Brien from Dedham. He's a class act." Well, of course, I had no reason to meet you. I lived in South Boston. I worked in town. But I met your son. Your son came to work for me at the courthouse in town.
Yep.
And I saw what a class act he was. And I said, if his father's anything like him, the father must be the great. Well, then I got appointed here in 1987 and I met you. And you have been everything that Frank Bellotti said. You're a class act. You've just been a great guy to all of us, and especially to the courthouse here. Whenever I needed anything or the judges needed anything, Judge Pomerol's right behind me, needed anything, you were there for us. And I appreciate that wholeheartedly. And I wish you the best, my friend. And you're always welcome here. Whenever you feel like coming by and saying hello, you're welcome.
But thank you very much, Sal. And you've been a great friend. And Judge Pomelo has been a great friend. And of course, I go back to my old friend, Mo Richardson, Judge Richardson. And I thank you and the committee for giving me the Mo Richardson Award. He was a super judge and a super guy. And you've had great judges over the years, and Judge Geishiker from Dedham, and great clerks, Jack Devine before you, and he was my friend. But you've done a great job, Sal, and I thought one day I'd be able to take your place as clerk, but you're staying around too long, Sal.
And I wanted to be a county
I guess I'm
commissioner.
not gonna get that job.
Not too late.
All right. Why don't we move down the street to Rentham and hear from Michelle Kelly. Michelle, please.
Thank you so much. Commissioner O'Brien, I know we spoke this morning, but I just wanted to join this call. Just like everyone else said, I came to Rentham Court in 2006 from Somerville Court, and I didn't really understand the whole county system. And you and I met several years after, and I felt like Rentham was kind of a forgotten place. And I remember when I first met you, you said, what do you guys need? You tell me. And we sat down and we became colleagues, but friends as well. And you are a true gentleman. You are the kind of men, frankly, who we don't see too often. You really are one of a kind. And you were so supportive of me. You were one of the first people who called me when I got the job as clerk magistrate in Rentham. And that just meant so much to me, but I wasn't surprised because that's what you're all about. And you are just an honorable man. It's been my pleasure to work with you. On behalf of the Rentham Court, we are grateful to you and everyone in your office for just always being there for us. You have gotten back to me almost immediately whenever we've needed anything and have come through. And the building has changed just so much since 2006 when I got here. And I just want to thank you for everything and wish you well. And again, we appreciate everything that you've done for us in Rentham over the years. Yes.
Thank you, Michelle, very much. You're a great clerk and you do a great job out there. And say hello to Judge Finnegan. And you people have always been wonderful. And I'll still be around to say hello to you. You're a friend and you've done a great job out there. And
Thank you.
I go back when Butch Songen's wife worked in the court. That's how long I go back, when Butch Songen's wife. So thank you for everything you've done. You're a class act yourself. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you. All the best.
Okay,
That's Commissioner Shea. If I could just mention that over my name is up there, Francis O'Brien, at my room. And there's a young man that's right under my name right now, and that's James McDonald. That's Jim McDonald's son, and he's my right-hand man all the time. He comes to every Memorial Day activity with his dad, and he salutes our veterans all the time. And I have a great picture with me with my Legion uniform as a life member of the American Legion. And James, thank you very much for being here and honoring me today. I appreciate it. Thank you, James.
Okay. Go.
Okay, thank you, Jim. I'm going to gather my thoughts and we're going to move on, but before we do, while I'm gathering my thoughts, I'm going to ask the commissioner-elect for another week, Richard Stady of Canton, for his comments now while I make a few notes. Dick?
And
Sure.
also, Commissioner Shea, it's Mike Bellotti, if I could say a few words too at the end.
Absolutely. I didn't, that's the reason I'm gathering my thoughts. I can't see everyone, but
Right, I'm just on the phone. Thank you.
of course.
With two Italians, Joe, you'll have plenty of time. Don't worry. We'll give you time to gather your thoughts here. Listen, hello, everyone. Nice to see some familiar faces and actually intrigued and hopefully looking forward to meeting the rest of you as well in my upcoming years as commissioner. It's an honor and a privilege to serve as an elected official, and it certainly is an honor and a privilege to succeed a legend such as Francis O'Brien. I know I worked with Franny O'Brien as a member of the advisory board. That was a very great honor and always a person we could depend on to get straight answers and get solutions to any ongoing problems. I always tell my kids that you never want to succeed a legend. You always want to follow somebody that perhaps is not perhaps up to task. So I know I've got my work ahead of me because I know from seeing Franny in firsthand and witnessing what he's done and all the huge turnout today that he is quite a man, quite a servant, and quite a person to succeed. So I just want to say I work my very best to fill those big shoes. Again, I'm very honored to be the commissioner-elect. But Fran, this is your day. I wish you the very best. God bless you, Godspeed, and all the best to you. And thank you for your years of service. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Dick.
very much, Commissioner, and I wish you the best. And if I can be of any assistance and helping, you're going to be working with two great guys, with Commissioner Collins, Commissioner Shea, and I would recommend highly for the first couple of months, just be a good listener, which I'm sure you are, and you'll go off from there. Thank you very much, Commissioner.
Thank you, Chairman.
Before I go to Mike Bellotti and Sheriff-elect Pat McDermott, we just joining us, and I know, and I'm not sure he's in the Commonwealth, but if he isn't, I know where he is, and he's at the Capitol in Washington. So I'm going to ask Steve Lynch for a couple of comments. Representative.
Thank you, Joe. Hello, Fran. Good to see you, and great to see all my colleagues on the call as well. Certainly, you deserve great credit for all your hard work over the years. I only wish that John Gillis was here to take part in this. You and John were cut from the same cloth. Just wonderful examples of what a public servant should be. I remember like yesterday when I was entertaining the idea of running for Congress. The very first stop I made was with you and your wife. I think you were on your second life of 9 lives. You were in a rough spot back then, 20 something years ago. And, I've watched you over the years. You've been a joy to work with. You're old school, which I love. I think my advice to any young person getting into politics would be to take lessons from Fran O'Brien and stay connected with the people that you represent and be aware of their troubles and their joys. And you've done all of that. You've been relentless in your hard work, but at a very different level, Fran. You've been a marvel to watch. You've been gracious to me and allowed me to have a front row seat of all your good work, and you've been wonderful to me. You've been absolutely wonderful, a wonderful partner. While I spend 4 or 5 days a week down in Washington, D.C., I know Fran O'Brien is in Norfolk County, and he's paying attention. And if I need to know something, whether I like it or not, Fran's gonna put it on me. So I just, you know, in a way, I'm nostalgic over this, and I hate to see someone as important as you to my life and to the lives of the people in our county begin a journey without you in that spot. And I know that you are loved by many, not just in Dedham, but all over, and including in the Lynch House. You are loved. And I just wish you the very best. You know, this is not goodbye. It's you know, farewell, and we'll remain to be in touch. You know, your work on behalf of veterans and on behalf of our seniors. You know, you got that luncheon that you do with everybody over 90, I think it is. You know, and I've been a frequent flyer to that. And so you remember the people who are vulnerable in our communities, and your dedication and loyalty to them is just without match. You know, it's just so I'm sad that this day has come. Dick Stady's got big shoes to fill, but you know, I know that you'll be there to advise him and also the other commissioners, you know, Collins and Joe Shea. But I just wish you the best. You are loved by many, including by me, and we'll stay in touch. And I expect that if there are things I need to know in Dedham or in the county, that you'll be more than eager to set me straight and give me advice. And that advice will always be welcome, as it always has been. Like I say, you're a wonderful example of what a public servant should be. And you served your country and your county and your state and your town in inimitable fashion. Just so proud of you and the work that you've done. You've left a great legacy. And I know that you've brought up a lot of people, you know, from Bob Coughlin, you know, to Munchback and, you know, McMurtry. You know, you've brought a lot of, and you've been a mentor to me. So, you know, the sign of a life that has been well lived is that your work continues after you're gone. And I know that, you know, from the seniors down at O'Neill Drive or you know, any of the groups that we work with, our veterans, the court system. I saw Sal Paterna on the call earlier, you know, another wonderful public servant as well, as are many of the people on this call.
Pleasure. It was always a pleasure voting for you from South Boston, Congressman.
That's great, Sal. Thanks for getting me off those couple of scrapes too. I appreciate that. You know?
Boy, I always wanted to keep you off the streets and on the sidewalk.
I always want to be good to the judges. Good to the judges. But we love you, Fran, and you got a wonderful family, and we wish you all well. God bless you, and stay in touch. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much. Thank you very much, Congressman Lynch, and you've been a great friend and a great congressman, and more than that, you followed the footsteps of one of the greatest congressmen we've had. He was my personal friend and your dear friend, Joe Moakley, and I can remember meeting you and Jim McDonald and Bobby Coughlin on Bridge Street in Dedham when I was deathly sick. And you were pounding on doors, the three of us, for your candidacy. And I can remember that like it was yesterday. And that's when Jim McDonald asked me if could name the room after me at the Selectmen's Chamber. So thank you, Congressman. Anytime I called your office, I got a call returned back. And that's good politics. That's good government. And Lynch, you was a congressman, certainly is number one. And thank your staff immediately. Thank you, Congressman.
Thank you, Fran.
Thank you, Representative. Okay, Mike Bellotti, Treasurer-elect.
Good
County
afternoon,
Sheriff.
everybody, and I apologize, I'm not on Zoom. I'm on the phone, and I'm sitting at my new office here on High Street. And it saddens me that, I'm coming into this level of county government, and the one guy that I probably depended on the most over the past 20 years, 21 years, even before, Franny, you were sworn in as a commissioner, is not any longer part of the county, the Board of Commissioners, because there's so much that I still need to learn, and I don't say that in a gratuitous way. It's just, as sheriff for 20 years, just like Clerk Timothy and Clerk Paterna said, I too was advised to look up Fran O'Brien. That was when I was running for sheriff by Frank Bellotti. And I'm sure Joe Timothy would have told me the same. And Fran, you were one of the first persons in the county I reached out to, never mind Dedham, in probably like 1996, 97. And then when I got elected, and this is where I think the nostalgia comes in for me, and I would have loved to continue to work with you in an official capacity, but I know we're still going to work together. When I got elected, we got a lot done in the sheriff's office. And all of the commissioners, particularly you, Franny, allowed me to do things with county property. We worked together in so many areas, and it was because of, I think, trust. We didn't always agree. There's always like minor battles that go on and healthy tensions. But Franny, we were always able to work together, and even with our differences, have a lot of fun. I mean, that's what I think. I sit here in this little office, not quite as big as Pat McDermott's new office, probably 1/5 the size, and no parking spot either. I don't think, Pat, but that's okay. And this is my new role in life. And Fran, I still need you there with me. It's just not going to be in an official capacity, and that's probably, as I sit here, nostalgically, it's hitting me now. Really how much fun we had over all those years working together. Even when I was in the state system, the way as sheriffs, you guys always supported me. But again, we had our own agendas at times, but we were able to laugh a lot of things off and have some fun. I miss those days. And like Walter Timothy said, I can't wait to get back over to Tahiti one of these afternoons and relive some of the stories. But most of all, I just want to thank you and congratulate you on a reputation second to none, and that's so hard to do in politics. Your reputation is just so well known beyond Dedham, the whole Boston area and Norfolk County, as someone that got things done. And like Steve said, Steve Lynch, you're not afraid to set us straight. And your blunt talk and your ability to keep the younger guys focused in areas they need to be focused on, but yet, at the same time, it was with great appreciation that we accepted those, that type of guidance and advice. But most of all, as I sit here in my new office, and I'm not officially sworn in, so I don't know if I'm even legally allowed to be in here, but it's just hitting me now, kind of retrospectively, like how much we got together with your support, how much we got done. And most of all, the retirement parties, and I'll just wrap up with this. One thing that you do, Franny, is no matter who was retiring, could have been anybody, a custodian, could have been a bank president, you treated that person in that retirement function, whether it was the back room at Tahiti or a big hall somewhere else, Lantanas, you treated them all equally, and you prepared so much with your different writings in your presentations. You were always the star of those shows because of the respect you showed to the retiree in front of their family and friends. And it seems like an easy thing to do, but most of us did not do it to the level that you did it, to detail, speaking about that person in their family in historical terms, or just in very intimate terms, but yet funny. That is, of all the things that I witnessed you do over the years, the respect you showed anybody who was retiring, by the time you put into it, it was almost embarrassing when the rest of us got up there, because you did it with such class, in such sincerity. So that's just a little tidbit, but I just want to thank you for everything, what you've meant to me and my family. And it's true, Frank Bellotti did tell me, as he told Sal, you got to meet Franny O'Brien. That was years before I even ran. And you were always there for me, and we got a lot done. And I think we did it because of the trust and the mutual respect. And I'm going to miss you being here. But I know that, you're nearby. I'm on High Street now every day, right on the street. So I'm not up on the hill. So I'll be on street level with you folks. And I hope to see a lot of you, Fran, as this whole COVID mess loosens up. So thank you for everything.
Thank you very much, newly elected treasurer and former sheriff. And, as you know, I go back with your dad way back in the early 60s. And Frank Bellotti was a guy. He was my guy all the way from here to Worcester to Springfield at the conventions. And I was the famous man in the aisle that we didn't have a certain Hamden County that wasn't with us. Then, of course, we had a little set of wire cutters, and they couldn't hear on the microphone until we got the vote. But,
the good old days.
Those are little stories, but Frank Bellotti is great. And Michael, wish you a lot of success as treasurer of Norfolk County. And they're going to be working with a great bunch of county employees, with Bill O'Donnell and with the new sheriff, Pat McDermott, a great guy. So I wish you all luck too in your new job as treasurer. Thank you,
Thank
Mike.
you. Thank you, Commissioner.
All right. We have a lot of department heads here, and we have a lot of former department heads and friends of Franny's, but I'm going to start off with a person who wears a couple of these hats, and someone who has a long history. First as commissioner and now as our registered deed. So I'm going to call on Bill O'Donnell now. Register O'Donnell.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair and the commissioners. Hello, Commissioner O'Brien.
Bill.
I hope you're doing well, but I know we've had an opportunity to work together for 18 years.
You did.
And I know you enjoyed being a county commissioner. Franny, you had a passion. You had a passion that drove you as county commissioner. And I look back, and I don't know where the time's gone. I know the Norfolk County Registry of Deeds always had a great reputation before 2002. But Franny, I look back at time with you as a new county commissioner and I as a new Registry of Deeds, along with the great and wonderful Commissioner John Gillis and Peter Collins. We solved issues over the years, and we all took the Registry of Deeds to another level. And I thank you for the support doing that. We've had building improvements done over the years and modernization initiatives, improving registry operations. The Norfolk County Registry of Deeds is really, I think, the best in Massachusetts. And this wouldn't be the case without your help and support, and without the help of your fellow county commissioners, John, and then you got Peter and Joe. So I know sometimes there's differences of opinions on policy and process, and we've had them sometimes, choppy waters, but throughout it all, Franny, we could meet in person or call each other on the phone, agree to disagree, and that's how it should be in government, and that's how it should be in life. And so in closing, you're going to be missed. I wish you good health and happiness and many blessings to you and your family, Franny. So Godspeed.
Thank you very much, Bill. And of course, I took your position when you left to become register. And I can say that was my enjoyment to serve with you. And I watched you move that registry from middle to the top, to be the best registry in the state of Massachusetts. And you've done a great job over there. There's no question about that. And I wish you and your family the best for the new year, a healthy new year for you and your family, Bill. Thank you very much, Bill.
Thank you, Franny. Same to you. Thank you so much.
Is Tammy Quinn on, Director, Superintendent of the school? Tammy?
Hi, yes, I am. I know I got a chance to say thank you to Franny yesterday. But I just wanted to say again, we're going to miss him terribly. As I said, he has made us feel special. He was always there to answer a phone call, a question, whenever we needed him for anything. He supported me at all times, and I want to thank him for that. And I want to thank him for his support over the years and how much we're going to miss him. And I wish him well.
Thank you, Tammy, and it was my honor to appoint you to be part of it as a principal and also a superintendent. And you have been one of the better superintendents that the school has ever had. I'm very proud of the hard work that you put in. And Aggie School is a great school. I love it. The commissioners like it. The trustees love it. Eddie Little loves it. I know he's the backbone of that school as a trustee. And thank you for everything that you did for me over the years. Tammy, I appreciate it. You were superintendent. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll miss you.
Thank you.
I'm glad you mentioned Ed Little, Chairman O'Brien, because I was going to go to him next. And although he's not a department head, he holds so many jobs, all very important. He's actually like a department head. Of course, he's the chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Agricultural School. He's an elected member of our retirement board, and he's a longtime member of the advisory board. And we do have some advisory board people on today. So I'm going to go to Ed Little next. I guess I am. I thought I saw you there, Ed. Where are you?
I did see him.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think he might have logged off at this point. though,
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad I mentioned him, and Ed was with us, and he's always with us. Is Rick on? Does Rick Fitzpatrick, the business manager at the school, want to say anything?
No, I don't see Rick, Commissioner.
All right.
He's
He's
yes,
with
I'm sorry, yes.
Here he is.
I'm
I
here.
don't want to put you on the spot, Rick, but go
Well,
ahead.
that's okay. I really didn't intend to speak because, quite clearly, I'm looking at the screen here and there's so many great people and dedicated people to county government and government in general that, the comments that everybody made, I can't abound on those any more than that's been said. I will share a quick story that Franny will remember. When I interviewed for the job here at the Aggie 12 years ago, I had a good friend on the Board of Trustees at the time. Everybody on the call probably knows as well, Mike McFarland. And, Mike was trying to garner the votes for me to become business manager because he was now stepping into the superintendent's job. And I went to the meeting and was interviewed. And during the interview, Chairman O'Brien spoke up and said, "Mr. Fitzpatrick, could you share with us what you would do if you don't get this job?" And I didn't know at the time how much it meant to Franny to have a guy that he wanted to support that was in some way an epitome of a political person that, that was in a position that he really felt could do the job. And unfortunately, at the time, I'll be honest to say that I didn't get the appointment. But then another good friend called me right after the meeting, and John Gillis. And in John Gillis's passionate and friendly way said, "Hey, Fitzy, I know things didn't go well for you last night, but hang in there. We're going to see what we can do." And to that day, I was always thankful to John Gillis. And then when people said to me, "Hey, you're not going to have to go find Franny O'Brien. Franny O'Brien's going to find you." And not soon after that call, I got a call from Chairman O'Brien. And, we had a nice conversation. And ultimately, I ended up in the job. And, I always felt with Fran that I could go to Fran. He'd call me in his office. And quite honestly, the first time I went in there, I got to tell you, I was a little bit scared. I was like a little kid. It's like, there's my dad behind the desk. What did I do wrong? But the conversations were always good conversations. They were always supportive. He always said to me, "Listen, If there's anything you need, you just let me know. And you know something? He didn't just say it, he backed it up. And there were many times that I needed him, and he was there for me. And the other thing that I just want to say real quickly, Mr. O'Brien, you are the epitome of a family man. I met your daughter who's sitting behind you. Nothing but great things that I saw from her. You should be very proud of being what you are, not only to government, but to your family. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you very much, Fitzy. I am very proud of my family, and thank you for your effort and everything you've done for the school. And I thank my family. Without my family, I couldn't have done what I did over the years, and I'm awful grateful to them. Thank you very much.
I'm going to call on Sheriff-elect Pat McDermott. I didn't forget him. I just want to tell him that I got a call aside from Bellotti. He wanted to take your time. He said you didn't need to speak. But I'm very
dealing with that for the next couple of years.
That's correct. That's why I mentioned. I'm very happy to introduce Sheriff-elect, present Register of Probate, and of course a former colleague of mine, as I was clerk of the City Council, and Patrick being a longtime city councilor. Patrick McDermott.
Thank you, Commissioner Shea. And yeah, this is a it's a real proud moment to be able to be here to address my friends in Norfolk County. When I look across the cameras here and seeing some old friends from my days back at the Registry of Deeds and Dedham Square and hanging out over at Dedham District Court, and a lot of memories flowing as I see everybody across the board. I see Bob Pearson here, my friend from the RSVP program, and friend, certainly, you've certainly left an indelible mark on the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and Norfolk County and Dedham. I just want to be just to let you know real quick. The maintenance staff at the jail is repainting all the offices. Yours will be ready on Monday when you're ready to come over. We'll have it ready to go for you. I've been hearing throughout the transition as I've been interviewing many of the worker, the folks at the directors, the personnel directors, and they've all said the same thing. Have you run this by Commissioner O'Brien yet? So it's nice to know that the shadow sheriff is still well alive and well, and we look forward to continue our relationship. But I have so many great memories, Fran, over the last, you gave a young kid a chance back, when I was actually running around. Actually, I think it was for Mike Bellotti back. It might have been maybe for Bill Keating, but running around trying to get some support in Dedham and the various towns around Norfolk County. And I had the opportunity to meet you somewhere in the 96 to 98 area. And, you were the go-to person, but you were so welcoming to a young kid in politics that was just trying to make his way in the world, so to speak. And I'll never forget when I decided to run for countywide office for Register of Probate. And you were so gracious with your support, your introductions to all of your team and your family. And I'll never forget it. And over the years, we've forged I think, a great relationship. My phone would ring at the probate court, and my assistant, Lisa Vilk, would say, prior to you were commissioner, it was just Fran O'Brien's on the phone. And my first reaction was, oh my God, what is he looking for now? But then I always knew what it was. You were gracious in terms of looking and inviting. You were gracious in inviting me to come over and participate in all the stuff in Dedham. I knew that I had an opportunity to really to entertain the folks over with my attempt at singing at the over 90 parties, at the St. Patrick's Day parties. You brought me over the American Legion on many of occasions, whether it's Dedham Flag Day or many of the events that I participated in. But at the end of the day, you were very welcoming to me, as I know you always were for a lot of, as many people have talked to me. We talked about, former Sheriff Bellotti. I saw Senator Rush on the phone, on the call here. All of us young folks in politics who came up through the ranks, we had to make a stop to meet with Fran O'Brien. And it wasn't just it wasn't just like a courtesy thing. It was something that you knew you had to do, because if you could get Fran O'Brien to believe in what you believed in, and if you could get Fran O'Brien's support, you knew you were well on your way. And I think all of us, Congressman Lynch, Bob Coughlin, all of us that have been blessed with your support over the years politically is great, because we've all won those respective offices. But I think more importantly, for me, it's the personal relationship. It's the advice, the wisdom. I mean, I lost my dad 12 years ago, and so you look for those father figures in the world when your own father's gone, and I can certainly say, Fran, that you've served in that capacity for me on more than one occasion, when you've offered your advice and you've offered your support and your love, and I will always remember you for that. More so for any of the politics and all the events, it's your willingness to listen, to help, to reach out, and always be there for somebody when they were in need. As I was, and as many people were over the years, you've always been the go-to person for us. You are certainly a legend in Norfolk County, and hopefully today begins a series of days to honor you as we move forward, because I know that we'd love to have an in-person event at some point. My voice isn't any good over Zoom, so at some point I'd love to be able to sing a special song for you at some point. So God bless you, Fran. Thank you so much. Wish you well. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Sheriff. And let me say, you are a real Democrat. And I was very happy to offer my support to you and to endorse you. And I will in the future. So I thank you a lot for the kind words. And I thank you for entertaining the over 90 people. Over 90 birthday parties at the Legion. It was unbelievable. 130 people coming in on crutches and canes, over 90 years of age, with corsages, and have a little glass of wine, and you would be singing Danny Boy for them. And those are things that I remember and will always remember. Thank you again.
Thank you. I'm going to call on a former county director and a long time. If Franny is Mr. Dedham, I'm going to call on Mr. Avon right now. And we all work with him in the recent past, and we miss him, but he's gone to the promised land of retirement. So I'm going to have Frank Haggerty say a few words. Frank?
Mr. Chairman, it's certainly an honor to, in the words of a good friend of ours, say you are a great American. And you gave me a chance to work with the county. It was one of the highlights of my career. I learned a lot from you. And I'll be very brief, but one of the lessons I learned from you was when you had someone in a meeting who was a little difficult and was just rambling on, and you needed to cut the meeting and move on. I will never forget. You looked down at the gentleman who had a baseball cap that he had put on the table, and you looked him straight in the face and said, "Is that your hat?" To which he responded, "Yes." And you said, "Don't forget it on your way out." That ended the meeting. He was gone. We all marveled at how suave you were at conducting the meeting, but it was a classic Chairman O'Brien moment, and I will never forget it. But on this occasion, I want to congratulate you on your 18 years of service to the county and 12 years of service to the town of Dedham as a selectman, and many more as an assessor and a member of the Recreation Commission. Congratulations. You've earned your time to kick up your feet and rest a while. And I'll tell you, as much as I hate to say it, retirement is not all that bad. So best of luck and congratulations.
Thank you very much, Frank, and thank you for your service as director. And I hope that I learned a lot from you and you learned a little bit from me. I know we both share our love for county government. Thank you very much.
Before we move on, I really, we're making great progress, and since we couldn't have this in a hall, you've got to bear with us while we try to finish up. So I don't want to shut anyone off, and I'm going to try to get to everyone. So I'm going to ask some other department heads if they want to say any other words before we move to friends, neighbors, and staff. So I see Robert Pearson is on with us from our RSVP program. Robert, would you like to say anything?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Shea. And hello, Commissioner Bryant.
Hi, Robert.
Hi, I am just soaking in all of the history and appreciating how much you're appreciated and how strong and sharp you continue to be. I've only been here a third of the time that you've been the chair, and time has flown by. One thing that you've given me is through your commitment and appreciation of veterans has been the strong focus for RSVP on veteran services. You've deepened my appreciation for it. Your heart is so big and very committed to all of us. I have always felt your strength of purpose and your strong interest in RSVP. I believe you are our strongest fan in your commitment for Norfolk County RSVP, what we do for veterans, and what we do for the older population in general. I'm going to keep it brief, but I do recall my first couple of years organizing lunches, getting the phone calls from you, and you making very, very, very sure that I invited all the people that should be invited and making sure that everything was gonna go well. And I just remember how you encouraged me and asked me to call you back to let you know how things were going. And you were a good guide and instructor for me as I was learning the ropes. I will always appreciate you and your service. And I know you will have hopefully a 10th and 11th life, but I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I've learned a lot from you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Robert, and thank Ken of your staff. Great job that you people do to bring recognition to the county and always take care of our seniors and take care of our veterans. That's all I ask in my retirement. Never forget a veteran and don't forget our seniors. Thank you very much.
Several years ago, I don't know the exact amount, but the next speaker will be able to tell you. We all know, and it's come up 10 times today, Franny is a veteran himself and his commitment to the veterans, and that he's a member of all the various veterans organizations, and one or two in Dedham that he's so loyal to. It's encouraging to see that people still remember our veterans. But somewhere along the line, we were able to get some sort of federal money through Franny's workings and Franny's connection, and he insisted that we appoint a veterans advocate, a veteran service officer, so to speak. And I'm going to ask our veteran service advocate, Dale Kurtz, to speak next. And he assists other towns with their VSOs and other veterans issues, and Franny pays very, very much attention to it. So I'm going to ask Dale for a couple of comments. Dale.
Thank you, Commissioner Shea. Chairman O'Brien, it was in fact 8 years ago, between a couple of days before Christmas and today, that I first met with Frank Haggerty and then you and Peter Collins, and you were gracious enough to offer me the opportunity to serve as your veteran service advocate. So thank you. As I spoke with you last week during the commissioners meeting, I am very appreciative of all the support that you and the commissioners have given to me. I feel it's a true privilege to be able to serve our veterans in the role I'm in. And I see Representative Lynch and Senator Rush and I've had workings with their offices and their support, and it's greatly appreciated, gentlemen. So that's all I can say, Fran. Thank you very much, and I wish you well. Thank you for your service.
Thank you very much, Dave. Dale, and when we appointed the Veterans Advocate, thanks to Steve Lynch, Congressman Lynch, in getting the federal grants, the federal money, we couldn't appoint a better guy than we did in Dale Kurtz. He makes his reports every month, and all he's doing is helping veterans. He's a retired Army captain. He's a real veteran, and he works in all the communities, assisting them, assisting the veteran service officer, whatever they need. And you're a hard worker for our veterans, and never forget the vets. Thank you very much, and I know you won't, Dale. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, I'm trying to move us along only because I don't want to wear Franny out here and towards the end of his career, and we still have to get back to the meeting. I've noticed that our attorney has been on since the beginning, and I don't want to, there's very few meetings that we don't talk to him anyway, and I didn't know if our attorney who's been with us over 20 years, Scott Lopez, has any comments. Scott.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner O'Brien, Chairman O'Brien. It's been an honor.
Hi, Scott.
It's been an honor to serve you over these last 18 years. I recall vividly when you were appointed. I was told, well, Fran's an old-time politician. He's going to want his people in my position. And the first couple of times I appeared before you, I felt I was on like an audition. And shortly thereafter, you pulled me aside and you gave me your full support and told me that you would want me to be your attorney. And that was 18 years ago. And I won't forget that. The county's been my client for a very long time. I really appreciate that. And my job for you was actually quite simple all these years. You just told me to tell you what was the right thing to do under the law. And that's all I did. I will miss you greatly. And I hope we can see each other again once we get beyond this COVID-19. So Happy New Year and God bless. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Scott. You know, when I first came into office and Scott Lopez was going to meet before the board, I thought it was like being a selectman of the town where the selectmen would vote and put their own town council in. So I mentioned it to John Gillis, just asking the question, Peter Collins, and I got, oh, Scott's a great guy. Well, he was a great guy, and there was no second thoughts in my mind to even mention anything about it. And since that time, we have operated for the county and all the county. And thank you for your service, and thank you for doing what you do for Norfolk County. Thank you.
Thank you. I see one of our neighbors on Old River Place with us, and I know she's a longtime friend of Franny's, and I don't want to put her on the spot, but she's helps us out in downtown Dedham issues and keeps us apprised of everything. And I didn't know if Carla Foley wanted to say a few words. Carla, you got to unmute yourself, please.
The aging process. I can't do that with Franny. Franny, went to get written. Few of us put our thoughts together as far as what you mean to us and what you've done for us. Okay, and I just quickly would like to read it because time is of the essence. And it just states, you have decided your time has come to leave the political arena. So this is the time to tell you how special you are to so many people. Every time your name comes up, there's always a story. You were always there for the little guy Once you were on Francis O'Brien's to-do list, you remained there until it was done. You told those closest to you that every morning of your life, as you were tying your shoes, you would promise yourself that you would do at least one thing to help someone that day. You received many phone calls at home, some of which your wife would answer if you were not available. She was happy to take the calls, but she had a rule. If you did not respond to them ASAP, she would no longer answer them, and no telephone call went unanswered. You have dedicated so much of your life to ensure that our veterans who died in battle were properly memorialized. You wanted every name on a plaque so that they became a permanent part of the history of Dedham and that their sacrifices would never be forgotten. You came into this world 10 years after the Treaty of Versailles had been signed, marking the end of World War I. 11th hour, 11th day, 11th month, 1919 would become Armistice Day and is now Veterans Day. As you are approaching your 10th birthday on the Thursday, October 29th, stock market crashed and resulted in the Great Depression, which lasted until 1939. On September 1st, 1939, Germany invaded Poland. September 4th, France and Britain declared war against Germany, and we were heading into World War II. On August 6th, 1945, the United States dropped the second bomb on Nagasaki and to end World War II. There's never been an exact count, but it is estimated that somewhere between 50 and 80 million people, civilian and military lives, were lost during those years. The Korean War, in which you served, began on June 25th, 1950, and ended on July 27th, 1953. Then came the Vietnam War, which began in 1955 and finally ended in 1975. The mortality rate was not as high as the previous was, but it tore our country apart. There was Iraq from 2003 until 2011, and now Afghanistan from 2011 to the present. You lived through years of poverty and war and came out stronger, more dedicated, and determined to give back. You also lived through some amazing times. You saw the first man walk on the moon, the United Nations established, segregation was abolished. Scientists and medicine have cured many diseases that took the lives of innocent people every year. Things that were once fictional when your life began are now existing. Francis O'Brien, your generation has lived through a lot, given a lot, and would not give up a moment of it. You have lived much of your life in the arena, so to speak. This has its pros and cons. Throw away the cons, sit back, relax, and reminisce about the pros with your friends and your family. You have earned the respect, gratitude, and affection of many people and joy. This is from your friends and neighbors, and for those who aren't with us any longer, who I know were grateful for the things that you did until the day they left us. Thank you, Francis O'Brien, for everything you've done for us. There was no place to go but to you sometimes, and I appreciate it, and to others. We didn't forget.
Thank you, Carla, very much for your kind words. And the other commissioners would be. We always made sure we took care of the neighbors.
Yes.
Behind District Court, Superior Court, and on Church Street. And I did the right thing for the neighbors while I was on the board. And I'm sure our commissioners and the new commissioner coming in will make sure that our neighbors are taken care of. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I think, and I can't see from where I'm sitting, but I think an old friend of Franny's, an old employee. And before I introduce our current employees, and then I'm going to try to wrap this up, I want to check and see, and I know Franny would be happy to hear from her. Is Ann Brown on the call with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Annie, it's your turn.
Commissioner O'Brien, it's Ann Brown.
And
I wouldn't have missed this chance for anything. I listened to everyone and their accolades to you so far. Sal Paterno telling you that you're a class act. Well, yes, you are. Speaking as your employee, I'm probably the first employee, Robert as well, and Dale, to tell you that you were such an honorable man. I was never afraid to come and see you. You were such a good partner to me at work, and I always trusted your judgment. I listened to you, and a lot of times in meetings, it was you who would speak out and straighten something out with words of wisdom and knowledge, and I would sit back and think, wow, I can't believe he just said that. I'm not going to go on for a long time, but I worked with Butch Songen, John Gillis, and you are cut from the same cloth as them. I totally honor and respect you, and it was my honor and pleasure that I got to know you, and I'll never forget those years with you. Thank you very much.
This is a shock. Thank you, Ann.
Yes, I just couldn't let today go without telling you how much you meant to me, and you are such an honorable man. The veterans, the elderly people in town, you really focused your vision, which a lot of people should do more today, on the people who needed you the most, and you did it. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And you were sorely missed when you left the office. You were a hands-on employee. You knew what was going on all over the place. You attended all the advisory board meetings. You attended other meetings, and you kept the county involved. So thank you.
And God bless Peter Collins, Commissioner Shea, and the new Commissioner Stady. It was a pleasure to be with all of you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your service.
Bye, Commissioner.
Yeah, bye, Ann.
Thank you, Ann. All right, I'm going to try to wrap this up. And I do not want to exclude anyone, but I also don't want to put Franny in the Dedham Cemetery on his last meeting. And I know he's more rugged than that. You know, there's so many other people here that could speak and want to speak, and I don't want to miss anyone. John McGowan had spoke earlier. He also spoke last week. I'm going to call on John, and I know he's one of your favorites, Franny, but we're trying to wrap it up. But go ahead, John.
I'm going to make it short and sweet. Right to the. I can't compete with everything that was said here today. But a good friend of mine told me, when you're in, you're in. When you're out, you're out. But if you treated everybody right while you were in, you'll never be out. And Franny, you'll never be out. That's all I got to say.
Thank you very much, John. Thank
You taught me that one.
Thank you.
I just want to say that I want to mention the staff. I'm not going to have them speak. Mike Mullins spoke. Then I have a special presentation from Peter and from all of us, Franny. And then we're going to try to wrap this up, but we will meet again, believe me. I just want to say that everyone in the staff has been so great. Everyone in the office is always so supportive, and they were brought on, most of them by you, Franny, or they were there when you got there, and they've done a great job. We have, of course, Nancy Rockwell, our purchasing director. We have Jeannie McLeish. We have our personnel director, Michelle Labadini. We have our liaison and our executive secretary of the advisory board, Phil Iantaka, our IT man, Mark McDonald, Chris Goldsmith in RSVP, assistant county director, Bill Buckley, who's a new man, and I know that you and Bill have become very friendly in the last year and a half. And of course, a great county director,
If they didn't mail it, just pick it up and bring it over. Yeah.
Mike Mullen. I waived my time originally just so we could get going, and I can appreciate everything that was said, and it makes me think of a couple of things which I'm going to mention, Fran. I've been around a long time too, not as long as you have, And I won't last as long as my mentor and the greatest guy I ever met in government, John Gillis, but you're right up there. To think about someone homegrown like you, that is a Dedham man, an outstanding high school athlete, a veteran, a firefighter, a selectman, a key manager at the MBTA, and then 18 years, most of them as chairman of the Norfolk County Commission, is probably a record that'll never be duplicated. But when I think of Fran O'Brien, and I noticed in the comments from Jim McDonald of Dedham that you started at the Registry of Deeds. Now, we mirror ourselves somewhat. I mirror you in that my career has followed yours in a lot of cases. I also started at the Registry of Deeds, which I know you knew and you hear me talk about, but I had forgotten that you worked at the Registry of Deeds. So it's really, it really comes home. I was fortunate enough to work with Franny in the same cubicle at the MBTA almost 40 years ago. The kinds of things I remember, in addition to working very, very hard for the riders, for the other employees, for the cities and towns, I realized right away that this big, gruff, straightforward man had a million friends, and he always took care of business. I even remember that when I was 35 years old, he ran my birthday party at the 99 restaurant. Now, without getting into the particulars, it was a booming success. And it went on and on and on. But that's what kind of guy he is. He took care of everyone. He took care of all the help in the office. He made sure that when someone died, they were taken care of. He made sure when their birthday came, they were remembered. He made sure when they retired that they went out with class. These are things that somehow they're ingrained in people like Fran O'Brien. He learned it and he treated everyone with respect. And he's a leader in every way. And we're so fortunate, in view of this corona and in view of the last couple of years, how difficult it is to hold all this together. But it's a tribute to him. There's a million more things that can be said here, and I hope to revisit this in the spring. But my last official act is to tell you, Fran, that Commissioner Collins, Commissioner-elect Stady, and I, and John McGowan and Mike are a committee of 5, which I'm going to expand to a committee of 500 after today, that we have taken a vote and we're designated that we're going to name the corner of High Street and Old River Place on the court, on our property. And we did reach out to the trial court. We're going to have a very, very appropriate ceremony when we can all gather again. I hope it's as early as April or May, but certainly by the summer, we're going to get it done. And we're going to designate that corner, which is the right-hand or the left-hand corner as you look at the Dedham District Court, as Fran O'Brien Square, but it's going to be on the little lift there. So we're making preparations. I think I know what we're going to do, but I'm going to invite anyone that participated here today, all of the members of the various boards of selectmen and all the members of the advisory board and anyone else that wants to come. But this will be a permanent, lasting tribute to you. And it'll be right in downtown Dedham, because as I said at the outset of this today, you are all things Dedham. But actually, you're all things MBTA and you're all things for Norfolk County. So we love you. There isn't anything more I think we can say today. I hope I didn't miss anyone, but the nature of having to have these Zoom meetings on the COVID, it makes it very difficult, but I'm overwhelmed at the turnout. And I know it'll only be better in the spring when we dedicate that corner to you, Fran. And I know you'll be there to help us with the dedication. So if I'd like to call on you so that we can end this meeting, and it's all done in honor of you, and we'll be doing more in the spring, but everyone will be enlisted to help, and we'll have parties like you used to run them pre-COVID. And we really appreciate all you can say. And I think the comments today were off the charts and really, really a great tribute to you. and I don't know what else I can say. You took care of everyone. You returned everyone's call, and in this business, that's very, very important. And you've taught me a lot. I had the greatest mentor in John Gillis, but you're right up there with John, and I'm a very lucky guy personally. So I'd like to have you say a few words, and Cindy is in your background. I don't want to put the eye on me to conclude this, but we're doing the very best we can. But we love you, Fran, and I'm going to ask you to say a few words. And thank you to everyone else.
Thank you, Commissioner Shea, Commissioner Collins, my great friend, Congressman Lynch, down in Washington. Thank you, Congressman. You're a stand-up guy. You're a stand-up guy from the day I met you. And this is a great honor that you guys are going to bestow upon me. I've been so fortunate to have, people like Judge O'Malley down in Stoughton, and Michelle Kelly and Judge Finnegan out in Rentham, Judge J.C. White over in Brookline, great people I met, Selva Turner and Judge Pablo, Judge Corbin, great judge down in Quincy, my old friend Arthur Tobin down there for many years. And I can go on and on and on. But the most important thing is our staff. I'll tell you, we have the best staff in Norfolk County. I know each department head will brag about their own, but I brag about the staff and I brag about all our employees, no matter what department they're in, what department head it is. If you're a county employee, you're a great person, you've done your job and you do it well. I can only say that, I don't want to go into individuals in my office because they've all been wonderful. They've all been key people. But the guy in charge now, Mike Mullen, he is leaving the Board of Selectmen in Rockman. That guy, I've been so proud to be part of his hiring. He has absolutely got a knowledge of town government, county government, and state government. He talks with the governor's office. He talks with the mayors. He talks with the selectmen. He's got a great rapport with the budget committee, with the advisory board. He's got a great backup in Bill Buckley, second in command, that came from the State House. This is a great team, and under him is the staff out there in the commissioner's office. And every one of them, they do a super job, each and every one. And I can just say from the bottom of my heart, I want to first thank my family, because without my family, I couldn't have done it. They had to cooperate with what I had to do in the time and the effort that was put into it to make the job a success. It was the greatest 18 years I spent in government, knocking on the doors, find out who they are, what you wanted, and I'll be back tomorrow. It's as simple as that. Get the job done, and we got the staff to do it. I can't say enough about Norfolk County. And to Joe Shea, a little extra, I can say, Joe, it was so good to work with you 40 years ago. You came in off the red line. You came to the commissioner's office, to the chairman's office. You and I worked together as a team. We're a great team in at the chairman's office, and we did a lot of things together. And lo and behold, 40 years ago, whoever thought you and I sitting in that cubicle would someday be county commissioners side by side. You never know what's going on day to day. But you were a great guy then. You're doing a good job as commissioner. I can tell already. So keep up the good work. Keep the county going. And to everybody that's involved today, from the congressman to Senator Rush, Representative McMurtry, to Treasurer-elect Bellotti, to our good sheriff, Pat McDermott, everybody involved, to Bill O'Donnell, does a great job at the registry. my heartfelt thanks to each and every one of you. It's a tribute I'll never forget. Commissioner Shea, I'll put the rest of the meeting for adjournment to you. Thank you, and God bless America.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion, Commissioner Collins, to adjourn this meeting. And this is a regularly scheduled County Commissioners meeting, the last meeting of the session, and a meeting to start the year-long tribute to Francis W. O'Brien for all of his service.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned. You'll be hearing from us all. Thank you very much.
Nice job, Joe. Thank you.
Thank you, Fran.